Okay, let's play some damn chess.
So, yeah, you can check me out there. I post a lot of historical apologetics on there. I don't do as much philosophy just because that's not my strong suit, but yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Bram, and I really enjoyed listening to this debate. It's linked down below. We're going to be playing clips as we go.
Right.
It was just on the resurrection, and I appreciate you because you know your stuff on the resurrection stuff, which was really fun to see as this debate progressed. So do you have any preliminary thoughts you want to say before we start playing some of these clips and talking about what went on?
Yeah, the debate was how long ago? Like a few months ago?
Yeah.
I've learned a lot since then. I've changed a lot of my positions. Reviewing some parts of the debate kind of make me cringe now. So I'm going to be not only critiquing Rick, which is his real name, but myself as well.
Get that damn king out of here.
My goal here is to not make this, a Rick slander or anything like that. It's going to be, I'm going to try to be as fair as possible. So, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate your honesty because I think as we get into these debates, it's super important to think about the purpose of the debate and reviewing it. It really should just be about trying to find the best of both sides and using that to move forward and seeing what we have to say. So you ready to get this thing rolling, Bram?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's do this. We got a bunch of clips queued up. So here's the first one. 1 second.
Damn.
Mark says Jesus died on the day of Passover meal. John says it was the day before the Passover meal, which was the day of preparation. Mark says that Jesus died at 9 in the morning. John says he wasn't condemned to die until noon. Did Jesus carry his cross all the way until Golgotha by himself, or did Simon help him? Did both the robbers mock Jesus, or did only one of them come to his defense? Did the temple curtains right before or after Jesus' death? Who went to the tomb on the third day? Was it Mary Magdalene alone, or was it Mary and other women? Was the stone rolled away from the tomb when they got there, or was it not? What did they see in the tomb? Was it one man, two men, or an angel? Were the disciples instructed to stay in Jerusalem to meet Jesus, or were they to go to Galilee? Did the disciples stay in Jerusalem, or did they immediately travel to Galilee? Did the women tell people about it, what they said, or did they not tell anyone what they saw? That answer is. It depends on which gospel you are reading, as they do not agree with each other on these details. I would argue that this is basically the gospels were not meant to be taken literally. I'm going to skip this part because I think I'm losing time. Now let's talk.
So this is interesting. This is the first thing I pulled up because if you listen to this debate, this is a little bit into this debate. You call Ricky out because you say that he's using a top-down approach, meaning he's just attacking general reliability concerns. Which is interesting because your case, if you watch the debate, is a minimal facts almost approach, and it's just super interesting.
I would call it moderate facts.
Okay, but a moderate facts, it's just interesting because he it's very. I love Bart Ehrman. I don't agree with him, but it's very Bart Ehrman-esque is what he's saying. So what do you think of this first clip, Bram?
Well, what's funny is that if you read this book by Bart Ehrman, in one of the pages, it's well, I just lost my bookmark, but whatever. Basically, he's getting it straight from Ehrman. And you don't even need to read the book to find that out. You can go to any debate that Ehrman has on the resurrection. He's pulling a lot of these straight from Ehrman. So there was definitely a familiar ring to it. So I have a few things to say about this. One, in the debate, yes, I pointed out that he was, as you said, kind of attacking the general reliability, whereas for my case, you can grant that all these are true and still have a resurrection. That was kind of the point of my case. I was defending facts that stood, whether those were contradictions or not. And I think I called that a top-down approach. I called Rick's approach a top-down approach.
Yeah, I'm going to take that damn night out.
Set of facts.
If he doesn't move that piece of shit.
If I had
Cast that damn night goodbye.
I would definitely spend more time defending the general reliability of the Gospels. Because,
that night's doomed.
Not even as a question of inerrancy, but just to...
That damn night's doomed.
Had all his alleged contradictions...
Get ready to resign.
Forgot to print them out, so I can't get them now. But a few of them
that damn night's
Simon
doomed.
of Cyrene carried Jesus' cross.
Yeah, thing you can do about it but weep.
John says that
you can't even take a poem of mine.
Mark says that Simon of Cyrene carried it. Except neither of them say that Simon
Dumbass.
or Jesus carried it all the way. Most likely what's happening is that John just omitted Simon out of his narrative because he didn't have any use for him. As Richard Balcom has argued in a great book he's written, Jesus and the Eyewitnesses, Simon seems to be serving in the synoptics, especially in Mark, where it says Simon and his sons Alexander and Rufus, as someone who the early church could look to say, yes, this is an eyewitness. That's that's a different
you want a
discussion.
stove?
But
Well, put your black
is
white ass.
This is not a stretch at all. This is what
I've got the black ass.
It's just to say that Jesus carried the cross at the start. It became way too heavy to carry because he had just been flogged. So the Roman authorities pull aside Simon of Cyrene.
How you like me now? Dumbass.
So much time on this one point. I think
I'm gonna take that whore out for a poison dinner.
The contradiction that he brings up is whether John
I'll ass that whore up
to the Passover
Oh shit!
or not. If John does date the crucifixion to the Passover, whereas the Synoptics date it to Friday, Rick's absolutely right. That would be a huge historical error. Whatever his reasons for changing it or not, it would seriously affect, the reliability of John. But as Blomberg has pointed out, just Passover or not. If John does date the crucifixion to the Passover, whereas the Synoptics date it to Friday, Rick's absolutely right. That would be a huge historical error.
Don't even think about it.
Whatever his reasons for changing it or not, it would seriously affect, the reliability of John. But as Blomberg has pointed out, I don't think we actually have any reason, despite popular belief, that John changes or even places Jesus' crucifixion on the Passover. In Mark 13, we get like a Passover meal. And there's very good, strong evidence that what we're reading in John 13 is an account of the Passover meal. The controversy is when you get to chapter 18, verse 28, and it says that some of the Pharisees stood outside the courtyard on a Friday, so as not to be defiled for the Passover. But as Blomberg has argued, since we already know that John understands that the meal in chapter 13 was a Passover meal, what is most likely happening here is that the Pharisees are standing outside the courtyard so that they can keep themselves from being defiled from other meals throughout the whole Passover week, not just the Passover day, which we have sufficient rabbinic, Mishnaic evidence for. So that's what I would say. One more here, if I'm not taking up too much time. I think Mark, Jesus was crucified at 3, John at 6, or I hope I got Mark's dating right. It could be, I can't quite remember there. But as many scholars have argued, Ben Witherington, Craig Keener, or maybe not Keener, but also Blomberg, is that given the way that time was reckoned in the ancient world and in first century Palestine, people rounded up all the time. It's very possible that John
Stupid.
in between those, and one might be rounding up and another author might be rounding down, especially considering the fact that John uses the word host.
You're gonna lose one of those damn pieces. Maybe it's both.
He died about.
And you're not gonna like that.
Yeah, there's your link next to that. We could address each single one of them, but that'd take way too much time.
Yeah, the only other thing I would just add is like these textual discrepancies that Rick brings up is like if the Gospels are like historic documents, like I think that's what you'd expect. Like there's all kinds of discrepancies in all kinds of like historical documents. Like there's differing opinions on like how was Julius Caesar killed, like who killed him, like things like that. Like no one disputes that Julius Caesar was killed, or like there's like different versions of the Gettysburg Address, but no one actually doubts that Abraham Lincoln spoke the Gettysburg Address. So like this discrepancies thing, like it just like it seems like when I hear these discrepancies, I'm like, well, it just sounds like these people were trying to write down what they actually believed happened instead of just like copying down from the previous person that wrote the previous document. All right, let's go on to this next.
May I add one short thing?
Yeah,
As
go for
for whether Jesus appeared in Galilee or in Jerusalem, there I just used additive harmonization. The argument is that in Mark 16:7, the angel tells the woman that he's going to appear, that Jesus is going to appear in Galilee. As Gordon Wenham has pointed out, there's nothing in the text that indicates that they must go immediately to Galilee. In fact, being the pious Jews that they are, they would stay in Jerusalem for the rest of the Passover. So in John, you're just getting the appearances that are occurring in Jerusalem for the rest of the Passover week, and then the synoptics, like Matthew, are reporting the Galilee appearances. So I just use additive harmonization there.
Damn.
Awesome. Okay, let's go to the next clip right now.
No.
Was not an eyewitness of Jesus. What's more interesting is Paul never mentioned a bodily resurrection. He even mentioned every mention Paul makes of Jesus is either through Scripture or Revelations. 1 Corinthians 15. I handed down to you for first importance what I received, that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, that he was buried, etc., 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 etc. Let's get that for the interest of time. Galatians 1:11. For I would have you know, brothers and sisters, that the Gospels were preached to me, not by human invention. For I neither received it from man, nor was I taught it. I received it through Christ. Paul does not seem to have an issue with the physical death and spiritual resurrection of Jesus, but the resurrection of the thread is the thread that holds all of these things together. So surely there is some evidence that must have happened. Well, let's talk about that.
Awesome. All right, Graham, what do you think of this clip?
Oh, I think this is a huge mistake on Rick's part. And I'm going to talk louder because one of the comments is saying that I'm not loud enough. So
this fucking sucks.
This is where N.T. Wright comes in handy. It is abundantly clear that in the Pauline writings, Paul believes firmly in a bodily resurrection. A few things to consider. Just prior evidence, if we're just looking at Paul's background, who he is, he's a Jew. Jews believe firmly in the resurrection, anastasis, or in the verb agero, I raise, means a bodily resurrection. It's a bodily phenomenon. Just read something like 2 Maccabees 7. But as for the specific Pauline evidence itself, it's funny that he quotes 1 Corinthians 15, and not just that little creed that I think he was talking about in verses 3 through 5 or whatever. If you read the whole chapter, 1 Corinthians 15,
son of a bitch.
Basically, and as well as 2 Corinthians 5, which is a little harder to exegete. But Paul's whole thing is, he never states explicitly, this is true, Jesus rose bodily. He states that Jesus rose many times. But here's how Paul's thought seems to be working. I guess you could put it in a little syllogism, if you will. Paul believed that, one,
I get rid of that
our
fucking
general
bishop.
resurrection at the end of the age will be like Jesus's. You can find this in a passage like 1 Corinthians 15, verse 20, where Paul draws a parallel here. And he believed that the general resurrection was definitely a bodily phenomenon. And so if the general resurrection is like Jesus' resurrection, as Paul says again and again, then he obviously believes that Jesus' resurrection was bodily as well. And not only that, we get bodily continuity in our resurrection. Read 1 Corinthians 15, 42 through 43, verse 43, and so on. Now, there is one counter objection I'd just like to, clear the way of here, is that Paul
Get that damn king out of here.
Inherit the kingdom of God. If you do a word study on Paul's use of the word flesh, Paul is not talking about corporeality, but mortality. And in fact, in the verse that you find that, verse 50 of 1 Corinthians 15, Paul draws there's a parallelism going on where he says, flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, nor can the perishable inherit the imperishable. So flesh and blood equals perishable, kingdom of God equals imperishable. Again, it's not about corporeality.
No.
It's about mortality. It's about the decay. That's what he means by flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add because this is a little bit out of my wheelhouse. But, yeah, here's the next clip right here. Right now, these clips we're playing are right now from Captain Dadpool's opening statement. So here's the last little bit here where he's going to talk about comparing Jesus to other pagan gods. So I just lost my screen. Apologize. We're gonna have this delay for a second.
All right. Freaking pone. No.
The narrative of the dying and rising against Savior God is nothing uncommon in pre-Christian history. We have Zamaxis, a Thracian deity, who died and was resurrected. We have Romulus, their demigod, who was conceived of a virgin and killed by
fucking king out of
when
here.
He died, the earth was covered in darkness, his body disappeared and was resurrected. He then appeared to his friend Populus on the road. When we have Osiris, who was killed by Typhon, the Egyptian equivalent of Satan, and was hacked to pieces, assembled and reassembled, the ancient version of when Trunks cut Frieza into pieces and was put back together. We have Dionysus, who some legends was killed and resurrected as a baby and was born of a virgin through a magical potion, to name a few. By the way, some of these members of God, their followers, celebrated communion, baptism, and they were told they would receive eternal life. But I'm sure Jesus is the real one.
All right, what do you think, Bram, on this clip where he kind of gets into like all the pagan deities and such?
Yeah, it sounds like Richard Carrier, doesn't it?
No.
So when I was taking notes for this debate, I went through Zalmoxis and Dionysus and Osiris and Romulus and all that, and I was amazed to find how unlike Jesus these figures were. The problem is I lost my notes.
Fuck off.
I was looking for them last night. So, but I a few points to make here.
Suck my dick.
Someone like Osiris, it's very misleading to say that he was raised from the dead. Osiris went to live in the underworld where the dead were, and in the ancient Greek and Roman stories, where people from the dead would come back to Earth, they're coming back precisely as dead people. And if people saw these dead people, they wouldn't say, "Oh, he's been raised back to life." No, he's been raised. Well, you wouldn't even say he's been raised. You just say he's come back as a dead person, right? Zalmoxis, Romulus, Dionysus.
That king is dead.
There has been a lot of work done. The consensus among scholars today is that the category of a dying rising god is not even a legitimate category. It's a vestige of early 20th century past. As much as I wish I could address each of those individually, I don't have my notes, and I don't think I'll have time. So here's what I'll say the main problem with this whole thesis is. It's that it's absurd to posit. It's okay to find parallels. Seek and you will find. But to say that there's a causal connection between these is when you think about it, quite absurd. When you think about the fact of who the early Christians were, they were very Jewish to the core. They were debating about Jewish things, circumcision, food laws, what role the works of the law played in salvation, and in defining who the people of God were. And to say that these pious Jews would come and plagiarize these pagan myths that they abhorred and say, yes, our Lord and Savior and Messiah and Yahweh himself has come down in the form just like these other gods is, well, kind of silly. So that's what I'll say there.
Yeah, don't worry. Just Bram, don't worry about time. We have plenty of time. But I just had a couple of things here. Like, there's one of them is just like correlation is not causation. Like atheists love to have that meme where it's like, oh, there's 2,500 deities and Christianity is just one. But if there's 2,500 deities, there's going to be correlations between Jesus and other deities. Because there's so many different other stories out there. So it's inevitable. It's yes, there's correlation, but first you have to show that that's causation. That's their burden. And as far as I know, Rick doesn't do that. And you brought up why would first century Jews use pagan texts. That's a really good point to bring up. C.S. Lewis is he was big on myth. He loved myths. That was what he did before he was a Christian. Yeah, he taught myths, and he loved these things. And what he realized is he didn't come to the conclusion that Jesus was another just a copycat from all these myths. He's this is the culmination of all of these things. Lewis read the myths, and he's this kind of points to Christ, and Christ is the true myth because he actually existed, rose from the dead, things like that.
I guess you can see it in some kind of archetypal way like that. Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So because it's their burden to show that it's not just correlation but causation. And then the other thing I just thought about as you were talking, Bram, is so I did a little bit of research on the early Christian apologists in the 2nd century. It's the 100 years after Christ, and what they were accused of.
Damn.
3 main things. One, of being atheists because they denied all the Roman gods except for the Christian God.
That's funny. I never knew that.
Yeah, 2 for being cannibals because of the Lord's Supper. They thought they were eating the actual flesh. and 3 for being incestuous because they were
pissed
like,
me.
"You're my
That
brother and
freaking
sister in
pissed-
Christ." They're like, "Wait, but how does that work?" None of these
That fucking
accusations
pisses me
were
off.
that they stole this Jesus figure from all these other pagan gods. Which, like, if the scheme came about where they're putting together all these pagan sources to create like this Jesus figure, like, you think that some of the pagans would have known about this and complained about this? Like, this just isn't a critique of Christianity in the early, in the first century, in the second century.
And if you read something like Acts 17, where Paul is preaching in Athens, and he's preaching the resurrection of Christ, the Stoics and the Epicureans, they're not like, yes, this Jesus sounds like our other dying and rising gods. Mm-hmm. They're like, this is ridiculous. You know, we haven't ever heard of this. And so it was
get that damn work out of here.
Yeah, that's good. Do you have anything else you want to add, Brad, before we get into this next clip, which I believe is from him cross-examining you, or you cross-examining him? Do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, it's funny, later in the debate, I brought up very specific parallels between JFK and Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I remember that.
I also mentioned really specific parallels between, like, the Titanic and a novel about a ship that sank called the Titan 14 years prior. If you, again, seek and you will find. Like, if you're looking for parallels, you will find them. That's not sufficient. All you're proving is that you found a parallel. Good job. You've got to show that there's a causal connection. So, yeah.
It's their burden. All right, let's look at this next clip right now.
Shit.
They change things at their whim.
Yeah, let's go to those. Let's talk about the date of
Matthew, because Matthew messed things up. Sorry, if he wants to know.
Let's talk about the date of the Passover.
Stupid!
Galilean would have been using a different calendar for the Passover than the Judean Jewish leaders who were using who celebrated the Passover on Friday.
Yes. Jesus was stoned at the Passover for teaching apocalypse, and he had 5 disciples who were also killed.
Are you talking about the Jesus that was in AD 62? Because that's after the Jesus in AD 30.
I think so. There's like 5 or 6 of them.
Well, Jesus was a common name. Yesu. I mean, Joseph. There's nothing. There's no.
So you're saying
nothing there to be reckoned with.
So you're saying Mark or Matthew was using a different calendar than Luke was?
No. I'm saying that John. John. Yeah, would have been using the Judean calendar, which is what he mentioned. So there's no contradiction there.
But they knew each other, and those were written within a decade of each other.
Except most scholars hold that. Do you agree that most scholarship holds that John is largely independent of the Synoptics?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because most scholars are Christians. John clearly takes from Mark, and the independent sources is likely Josephus. Because John has it seems like John used, I don't have it specifically with me, but Luke as well seems to have used Josephus and his letters. And as far as what other independent sources, that's just a claim. What does that mean? What are these independent sources? We don't know. It's pure speculation.
It seems a lot more of a speculation to say that Luke is using Josephus, considering that nobody except Richard Carrier actually thinks that. Maybe with the exception of Robert Price, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Robert Price. But that's just an idea. Wait, alarm off for a second.
Is that not speculation?
It's connections that have been made. I'm not saying that he definitely used Josephus.
Damn, I didn't see that.
That's one idea. But besides that, we don't have any other ideas what sources he used. They may have been independent, but we have no idea what they are.
Shit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I do want to say before on this clip, Brad,
Piss
shout
me
out to
off.
Dr. Josh. I love that guy. But what are your thoughts on this little interaction?
That whole clip is painful. The main reason it's painful, I'm not being rude here to Rick at all. It's painful because of the way, not only how strongly I disagree with Rick, but the way I defended my position against his. So let me start off with a critique of myself. The thing about the Passover, me asking, are you aware that Jesus would have been using a Galilean calendar and not a Judean calendar like the Pharisees would, or whatever, or Sadducees?
Suck my cock.
That's one attempt to harmonize in the Gospel of John the alleged discrepancy on the dating of the actual crucifixion. I now think that harmonization is way too complex, and it's a stretch, and I don't take it at all. Rather, I take the position with Blomberg and other scholars that John does not even date, the crucifixion to the Passover. In 1828, I think the Pharisees are standing outside the courtyard trying not to be defiled, not for the Passover meal itself, but for other meals during the entire week. Because, in John 13, John has already strongly implied that what's being eaten there is a Passover meal. So, and also, the evidence that we have, I later learned this, the evidence that we have, the Judean calendar and the Galilean calendar, that there was a difference is, we have some evidence from Qumran and some evidence from elsewhere, but, to try to arrange it such that Jesus would definitely be using this calendar, the Pharisees would be using this calendar, I think it's stretching that data a little too much. What else did Rick say? His bringing about another Jesus being stoned was a complete non sequitur. I don't know where that came from. I also don't know what Jesus he's talking about. But even if there was another Jesus, I'll just trust him here. Jesus Iesu was, again, I already said this, was an extremely common name. Read Josephus. Messianic pretenders were common. Simon Bar Giora, Bar Kokhba. I mean, nobody denies this. Last thing about Luke using Josephus, not a shred of evidence for it. That's a really wacky theory, and I think where it comes from is that Josephus reports about this Jesus in AD 62, named Jesus ben Ananias, and he goes around saying like, "Woe to
Jesus
Jerusalem,"
Christ, are you really real?
And then the authorities capture him, and then I think they release him. That's in AD 62. So if
this is gonna piss me off.
If Rick wants to say that Luke used Josephus there, he has to say that the earliest Gospel, Mark, was written after AD 62, which I completely reject. I think Acts was written before AD 62. So he's got to defend that.
Damn.
And also, just these vague parallels. Again, they're just vague parallels. There's not a shred of evidence that Josephus uses, that the Gospels use
that
Josephus.
That fucking pisses me off.
And, that he accuses me of speculation.
Yeah, how I mean, so fucking I'm stupid. I'm stupid for that.
Contra Rick, to say that John is independent of the Synoptics, that's not just an opinion of Christian scholars. That has been held for a while, ever since, C.H. Dodd wrote in the 60s, Historical Tradition, the Fourth Gospel.
Bitch.
And what I mean by that is that John is literarily independent of the Synoptics. All you have to do is read John to figure that out. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would just say, it seems like Ricky, he has to add a lot of, auxiliary hypotheses. What that means is, for example, I just did a debate with Emerson Green on the problem of evil. One of the things he talked about was how, with the problem of evil, the Christian has to give some sort of, theodicy or defense. And it's when you do that, it adds these hypotheses, which make your idea less likely to be true. We can talk about the merits of that, but with regards to what Rick's doing, he's doing the same thing is kind of what I did, except I think even more unsubstantiated, where he's just adding all these things where it's of course it's possible that Rick's right, but what's the best explanation? Because he had all these things that aren't supported by the data, but there's these correlations, but we don't know if they're causation. It just seems like he has to add all this stuff to his work to get his ideas to run.
And I'll also say this, it's kind of funny. A guy I'm in a group chat with named Caleb Jackson, who's wrote a book called Undead. Caleb Jackson, he pointed this out. He's like, New Testament scholars like to say all the time that here the Gospels contradict Josephus because Josephus reports one thing and then the Gospels report another. And then where the Gospels sound like Josephus, the Gospels are using Josephus. So, I mean, yeah, and by the way, I think that Mark was written sometime in the 50s and Luke before AD 62. Luke had to be written before Acts, and I think Acts, given the way it ends, has to be written before AD 64 or whatever, when Paul's martyrdom is. So, I mean, yeah, I just completely reject the idea that the Gospels could even be using Josephus at this point.
That's super interesting. You ready to get to this next clip, Brian?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Damn,
This should be a fun clip.
so
Talking
bitch.
about Joseph of Arimathea.
Oh, yeah. Invention. Why not make Peter, for example, bury Jesus? And furthermore, I think this explains the fact that as the Gospels progress, Joseph becomes more Christian and less Jewish.
Okay. Are you aware that there's a story in Genesis that parallels Joseph of Arimathea?
You can find a million parallels in anything. I can find 12 very specific parallels between JFK and Abraham Lincoln. It doesn't prove anything.
This is a narrative that Joseph, it didn't even change the name, Bram. Joseph begged the king to give him the body of his father so he could bury it in a grave that he purchased. It's the exact same story. He doesn't even change the name. It's still Joseph.
Except Joseph.
So are you saying this is a weird coincidence?
Yeah, I mean, I can give you, I have 5 examples written down of a bunch of weird coincidences. You have to show evidence that there's an actual causal connection between these. I mean, Joseph was the second most common Jewish Palestinian male name. I don't see how this is any argument against what I'm saying.
The causal, the causal connection, is that what we called it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the causal connection is the Gospels are fan fiction, basically.
And what makes you think that? Because most historians...
Because of the stark number of parallels from the Old Testament, Joseph of Arimathea being one of several.
Again, I doubt those. You can find parallels between anything. You have to establish a causal connection. There's a remarkable parallel between the Titanic and a boat called The Titan, written in a novel 14 years prior. There's no evidence that there's a causal connection. Surely you wouldn't say that therefore the Titan is ripping off, that the story of the Titanic is not historical, and is ripping off this novel 14 years prior about the Titan.
So I personally disagree because I don't believe in coincidences. I think this was intentional, but that's just me. So where's Arimathea?
So to be consistent, when you have to argue, well, I shouldn't be answering the questions. Well, the way I reply to that is to be consistent. I think you'd have to also say that the Titanic was ripped off the
I might have to say that about
14 years prior.
It has nothing to do with this.
Sure, it does.
I don't have to assume every connection is true for every single topic ever.
So why
I can pick and choose based on how similar they are, and I find that the fact his name is still Joseph, and the fact that Arimathea does not seem to be a real place.
Arimathea is. I would say that Arimathea is a real place. We've been able to identify the etymology behind the word. If you look at First Maccabees,
right?
No, that's a Richard Carrier lie. If you look at First Maccabees, chapter 11, verse 34. You see the town mentioned, and it's clearly a Greek Septuagint translation of a town, I think it's called Rathaim, mentioned in the Old Testament, in Hebrew.
Okay, lots of fun stuff here with regards to Joseph of Arimathea. So what do you think, Bram?
Okay, I'm going to start by critiquing myself again. My argument for one
stupid
the existence of Joseph is one that he gets from a scholar in 1994.
You dumbass.
Named Raymond Brown. Raymond Brown wrote a 2-volume commentary on the Passion narratives. In this burial section, he has this interesting quote about, it's inconceivable that, that Christians, given the early hostility between the Sanhedrin and the early Christians, they would invent a Sanhedrin Jew to do what is right by Jesus. I think that's right. But Brown also goes on to argue that as the Gospels progress, Joseph gets more Christian and less Sanhedrinish. I disagree with him there. Now I've changed my position on that. And the reason, so Brown argues that the earliest Gospel we have, Joseph is just described as a man seeking the kingdom of God. And if you look at Mark chapter 12, the lawyer who comes to Jesus is also described as a man seeking the kingdom of God or near the kingdom of God or something like that. And he says, look, the Gospels aren't portraying this lawyer man as a Christian or a secret disciple. So why should we think that Joseph of Arimathea is being portrayed in this way? Here's the thing. In Mark 12, I think what you're getting is a very clear narrative contrast between the lawyer who does understand Jesus versus the other, scribes and Sadducees and Pharisees who try to who reject Jesus and go on with their practices.
Okay, his assholes get asked.
So, and now, if you go back to the Joseph of Arimathea narrative, the way Mark describes Joseph is a very weird thing to say about him.
Man, I fucked him up. Man, there's 2 smelly shillies. Jesus Lord. Jesus Lord. Jesus Lord. Good. Jesus Lord. Okay, let's pay some more damn chess. I got my damn cup of coffee and my damn donuts. My damn mints. Let's play some more damn chess. I love saying that word damn. It's a damn trip. Oh. Oh. I want this damn TV cut on. I want to watch the damn Terminator. Son of a bitch. Not tune, son of a bitch. There's a fucked.
What he looks like, where he lives, everything.
I mean, let's play some more damn chess. Man, I fucked that guy up. I fucked that guy's hole! Oh. This is a stupid move. Potentially stupid move. Get that fucking whore out of here. Get that fucking whore out of here, you son of a bitch. No, I don't.
Me too. Siempre como culebra.
Qué bueno verte, Coco.
Dije que iba a regresar.
Man, I fucked up already. That fucking sucks. I should move that damn knot here. Put this damn whore and damn check it. Shit ass son of a shit ass bitch, son of a bitch, son of a bitch, son of a fucking bitch. Shit. Move your black ass or I'll report your black ass for stalling, you son of a bitch. You stupid son of a bitch. Man, that was fucking stupid. Son of a...
Just gave him my stuff. Any clothes, food, and whatever.
Get that whore out of there. Get that damn whore out of here. You stupid bitch.
You two. You're on weapons detail. Come on, let's go.
I'll chase that whore to Kingdom Come. I will do that. I'll chase that damn whore to Kingdom Come. Don't think I won't. I'll chase that damn whore down. Take that damn bishop. Oh no, you stupid fucker. You're gonna lose that damn bishop. There ain't a thing you can do about it, but lose that damn bishop. You stupid son of a bitch. Oh hell. Hell no! Dumbass.
The best truck I got. But the starter motor's gone. You got the time to change it out?
Yeah. I'm gonna wait till dark to cross the border.
Okay.
Dumbass.
Like this. So I do stuff as the people live. Riding around in helicopters. Learning how to blow up. That's definitely you.
Oh, damn shit. Darn!
Most of the guys my mom hung around with were geeks. But there was this one guy, he was kind of cool. He taught me everything.
Oh dear.
Mom screwed it up, of course. She always telling them about Judgment Day and me being this world.
You better think wrong thing. You better think long thing wrong.
Proclaim, please.
Wish I could have made my real bad.
You will.
The Terminator doesn't say please.
45.
Damn. Now move your black ass or I'll report your black ass for stolen or I'll report your black ass for stolen.
He hasn't even bored yet. Messes with your head.
Beautiful.
Man, I think I fucked up.
We're only together for one night.
I think I fucked
Love
up.
my ass.
Son of
I see her
a
cry
bitch.
sometimes.
Damn, I
Not
fucked
control
up.
it, of course, like she got something stuck in her eye.
Damn, I fucked up.
Why do you cry?
Son of
People,
a bitch.
I don't know.
That
You just
fucking
cry.
pissed me off.
You know, when it hurts.
Son of
Pain causes
son of a bitch.
No, it's different. It's when there's nothing wrong with you, but you're in anyways. You get it?
No.
All right, my man.
No problemo.
Give me 5. Put it out your hand like this. Come on. All right. Now hit me. Give me 5. Do the same thing. Do the same thing. All right. Okay, that's good. That's good, huh? High five. High five. 5 low. Too slow. I'm just kidding. Let's try it one more time. Good. That's right. That's right. Good. Now do me. Give me 5.
Watching John with the machine, it was suddenly so clear. The Terminator would never stop. It would never leave him. And it would never hurt him, never shout at him or get drunk and hit him or say it was too busy to spend time with him. It would always be there, and it would die to protect him. Of all the would-be fathers who came and went over the years, this machine, was the only one who measured up. In an insane world, it was the safest choice.
Damn, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to catch him. Shoot. Shit ass son of a bitch. Fuck, son of a fucking shit. Motherfucker. That fucking pisses me off. That fucking shit pisses my ass off some kind of fucking bad. No. No.
Calm down.
Walls are closing in. I'm freaking out.
Relax, Yellow. Just take a deep breath.
Get that damn work out of here, son of a bitch.
Oh, Reverend, onward to Oregon. Lead the way, Yellow.
I'll chase that damn rook to kingdom come. Don't think I won't.
That's a pretty bold plan, but God talks directly to you. Sorry, God's phone. I'm a huge fan. Can you please tell him Ezekiel Brown says hi? I'll be right. Miracle Worker.
You don't like that shit, do you? Well, deal with it.
With a top-rated app that lets you deposit checks and transfer money anytime, anywhere, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like...
I'll take Barkley.
Yeah! Yep, even easier than that. What's in your wallet? So when I said to him, you have to customize your car insurance at Liberty Mutual, so you only pay for what you need. Hot dog or chicken? Only pay for what you need.
Pass. Look at this shit in that. Look at this crap. That fucking pisses me off.
Together, committed to helping preserve what makes the outdoors.
Suck my dick.
When making the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich, people asked how I felt about burger places selling fried chicken. I'd say that's none of my business. Just like making fried chicken is none of theirs. Get the new Kentucky Fried Chicken
Suck
sandwich
my
for $3.99.
dick.
It's finger licking good.
Shit. No. No, don't.
You fired up the grill for one hot dog? Seriously?
Hot dogs, better with Pepsi. Ace is the only hardware retailer that carries Benjamin Moore paint at over 3,800 stores. You can buy in store or order what you need online.
Oh, I almost fucked up.
Free delivery. When you want the best, Benjamin Moore paint from Ace. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware.
I almost fucked up. That would have fucking pissed me off.
Not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month.
Suck my dick.
Samsung Galaxy A32
Stupid
5G,
fucker.
only $299. All on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart and Walmart.com.
From the very first touch, Pampers, the #1 pediatrician recommended brand, helps keep baby's skin drier and healthier, so every touch will protect like the first. Pampers.
Domino's is testing driverless delivery.
Dominique.
Before you know it, when you get any 2 or more medium 2-topping
Get that damn work out of you, you son of a bitch. Shit. Son of a bitch. Shit. Go ahead and take that damn pone. I dare you. I double dare you. I triple dare you to take that damn pone.
Luxury is where you are. That's Daz. Happy Daz.
Pack your bags and lock out early because Cheddar News is hosting Summer Fridays in the Hamptons.
Son of a bitch. Man, look at this fucking shit.
We'll sit back and chat with CEOs, influencers, and business leaders. All on the
Nah,
at Sotheby's in East Hampton.
I gotta do it. You can ask me up too hard if I don't. Son of a bitch, I think I fucked up. No, I don't. I think I fucked up.
Mattress Firm's 4th of July sale has been extended.
Yep,
It's your
I
last
fucked
chance
up.
to get a king bed for the price of a queen or a queen for a
Yeah,
king.
I think I fucked
Plus,
up.
get a free adjustable base with qualifying Sealy purchase. Or save $500 on Tempur-Pedic Breeze mattresses and sleep up to 8 degrees cooler. Our sleep experts have over 200 hours of training. And with our low price guarantee, you can
Yeah, I think I fucked up.
at the best price. Only at Mattress Firm.
Damn, I fucked up. No, we don't. I fucked up. That's fucked up. No, don't. No, don't. Get that damn king out of here. Damn. Shit. 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 Man, that fuck. Man, this fucking pisses me off. Fuck this shit. Man, this fucking pisses me off. Let's look at Sarah Connor's arms. Her arms are longer than Sarah Connor's, I think. They better be. Man, fuck this. No. Man, it didn't show Sarah's skull burning. Man, this is really fucking pissing me off. Man, this is really fucking pissing me off. Man, this is really fucking pissing me off. Look how ugly I look. Son of a bitch ass shit. No. I take the bait this time. But you're not gonna hear, you dumbass. Stupid.
I may have memorized it up in the future as a message to her. Never mind. Now, okay. The whole thing goes. The future's not set. There's no fate but what we make for ourselves.
She intends to change the future.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, shoot.
Dyson.
Yeah. Gotta be. Miles Dyson. She's gonna blow him away. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go, come on.
This is tactically dangerous.
Right faster.
The T-1000 is the same files that I do. It knows what I know. It might anticipate this move.
I don't care, we gotta stop her.
Killing Dyson might actually prevent the war.
I don't care. Haven't you learned anything yet? Haven't you figured out why you can't kill people? Damn it, I told you to go to bed now. I'm not kidding. Just a couple of minutes, Mom.
Unless, what the other Gospels make
Move
more
that
explicit
damn night, you son of
is true.
a bitch.
So I think Mark presupposes that Joseph is some kind of disciple of Jesus or sympathetic to Jesus. I don't really think that there's any. I don't think that Joseph becomes more Christian or anything like that. So that's what I would say.
Okay,
But
let's
this
report his
idea
black ass or
that
white
Rick
ass
is
for stolen.
espousing that
I don't
Genesis
give a
50,
shit if I won. He abandoned
where
the game.
Joseph asked Pharaoh.
I don't
to
tolerate
go
that
bury
shit.
His father.
Once you start a game with
that
me,
that
you
is
got to
being used
finish it.
By the
Now,
gospel authors.
if I want in the game, I can hit it.
I think it's patently
Double standard.
false.
Hey, we'll put my
Read Genesis 50
we'll
for
put my
yourself.
asshole for
The
abandoning
parallels,
games.
basically the only parallel is that the name is Joseph. That's basically it.
Okay.
I mean, contra Rick,
Let's report his black ass for
Joseph
stolen.
does not go ask Pharaoh for the body. Or in contra Rick, he doesn't talk about a tomb that he purchased himself. Rather, Joseph goes to Pharaoh and just asks if he can bury his father, and his father had already cut the tomb out for himself. And there's so many. Everything else in the narrative is totally different. 70 days of mourning, for example, which is a very cheap Egyptian burial thing. Lots of people were there mourning and stuff like that. I mean, I think really the only parallel you can find there is that his name was Joseph. So, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that he used that. So, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I appreciate is like you bringing that up and being like, well, the second most common name was Joseph. So it's not like it's something that was like unexpected for someone that was like gonna bury Jesus. Like that's yeah.
I think I might have been wrong there. It might be Joshua. I think I made a mistake there. But nonetheless, Joseph was an extremely common name.
Yeah.
It's like taking two passages about some guy named Bill.
Dickhole.
Based on that, saying, well, one clearly had an influence on the other. Or I guess to be more fair to his point, two passages about Bill biking down a road that goes to his house, and everything else in the narrative is different. Saying, well, one clearly presupposes the other, so,
Yeah, I think it gets back to that thing, like, just because there's correlation does not mean there's going to be causation. Like, that's Rick's burden to show that there is causation. This next clip, which is all about the Mormons.
Awesome.
They all make the same claim that corroborates with each other that they saw Jesus with Moroni. So why is it you think that or would you say that they're lying, but the second, third, fourth hand accounts of Jesus' resurrection that we get from non-eyewitness testimony, that is true?
Yeah, I'll answer that. First, let me apologize for interrupting you. I'm kind of on an adrenaline rush right now. But
We know,
Zach,
yes, we know a lot about these alleged eyewitnesses. We also know that
Yeah, so the reason I asked you to stop right there is because, I mean, my answer is okay. I'd just like to give a full answer to this now. And so I just don't want to waste time on the answer I gave, which was shaky. Alright, so when it comes to Mormonism, first he says that the Gospels aren't eyewitness accounts. Actually, we're going to talk about that later, I think, because we have a
Mormonism sucks.
Yeah, I disagree with that completely. I think that's
It's of the
wrong.
devil. It's of the devil.
Let's talk about Mormonism for a second. A few things to say here. Generally speaking, there are like 3 claims about Joseph Smith and the origin of Mormonism that the Mormon apologist needs to back up. The first one is that in 1820, Joseph had a visit from God the Father and his son Jesus Christ, who told him that all churches were false and he shouldn't join any of them. We know this has to be false. It has to be false because the first mention of a first vision doesn't come until about 22 years later, in 1842. That in itself is not bad, but the earlier sources explicitly deny that this could have happened. Because after the vision allegedly occurred, Joseph then joins a Methodist church. And in his own publication before 1842, he writes about how after his family joined a Presbyterian church in 1823, he began to seek religion and pray even if some supreme being existed. And that's a quote, if some supreme being existed. Quite a weird thing to do if you just received a vision from God the Father and the Son Jesus Christ himself. The second claim is that Joseph Smith received visits from the angel Moroni, who apparently gives him a record of his people who live 1,400 years earlier in America, and then later he claims to have received these records on golden plates in this weird language that nobody can read, which he calls Reformed Egyptian. Already there's an analogy here. For the empty tomb, you have something which was in Jerusalem, and you have the apostles first proclaiming their resurrection in Jerusalem. You have the opportunity for open inquiry. The Sanhedrin could have gone, Joseph, who buried Jesus, could have gone to that tomb, because the tomb was known, that's what I argue, and seen if the bones or body was still there.
Man, look at this fucking shit.
I mean, Joseph's claim is completely unfalsifiable, and there's no open inquiry there. I mean, you know, it's written in a language that nobody can understand, and on plates that nobody can see, because apparently he already gave it back to the angel Moroni before anybody can look at it. And the third claim is that there are eyewitnesses in the Book of Mormon who signed to the truth of what they saw, and most of them recanted. Or, excuse me, most of the men who claimed this left the church. 3 of them recanted. There is not a shred of evidence that any of the apostles left the church, or you know, despite their despite the extreme hostile environment they were in. Yeah, so that's what I would say.
Do you want to keep playing this Mormon clip, or did you get to say, like, do we not have to go through your defense?
Yeah, we don't have to. I mean, my defense is basically. I only said a shred of it. I'm just using this opportunity to bring about my full opinion. I could have done a much better job on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Fuck this.
Oh! Alright, we have this queued up, and this is going to be talking about who wrote the Gospels and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Because we have no idea how the Gospels were written or who wrote them. We know who did. We're relying on oral tradition. We're highly educated.
Okay, so
each Gospel copied from the other and added in their own corrections or elaborations.
I wouldn't say that's necessarily true with the Gospel of John. That's largely true with about 85% of the synoptics, I think. But why in that case would you reject the testimony of Papias in the early 2nd century, saying that Mark was written by John Mark, who, you know, being, I think he was a diaspora Jew, who would have been competent in Greek and Aramaic, and probably Hebrew, who is a follower of Peter, and wrote Mark based on Peter's testimony.
And where did Papias get his information?
Well, I mean, John the Elder and I can't remember the other guy. But Richard Balcom lays out in chapter 2 of his book.
Yeah, but again, what eyewitnesses? There aren't any. You have to believe that, like, three months fashion story or something is. I'm saying that we have
about this.
Okay, it's funny. To return to the Papias question, the eyewitnesses that Papias cites are John the Elder and a guy named Aristion. And he describes them as people who were eyewitnesses of Jesus. I have my copy of Eusebius back there. I should have prepared to read the actual passage from Papias. But, Papias, who was living around Hierapolis at the time, whenever he was writing, as Balcom argues, was probably compiling a lot of this information around the 80s or 90s. So he was compiling this information within living memory of the eyewitnesses.
Shit. Damn, I wasted.
I'd like to see how he responds to that kind of evidence, rather than just blankly asserting there were no eyewitnesses. That's what surprises me. So there's that. We have the testimony of Papias, but that's a shred. That's just one shred of the evidence. There's a lot more. And by the way, Papias' evidence that Peter was the source of information for Mark's gospel coheres very well with the structural layout of Mark's gospel. Peter is like at the center of it, narratively speaking. What else? In the Gospel of John, the evidence that we have, both external and internal, John, son of Zebedee, the eyewitness of Jesus, one of the 12 who wrote the Gospel, is very strong. We have Irenaeus, we have Polycrates, Theophilus of Antioch, we have the Muratorian canon. We have we have so much evidence. I wish I had a list with me right now. I'm just rattling off the top of my head. And I think the internal evidence of John's Gospel coheres with that very strong external patristic evidence as well. I don't think he can substantiate his claim at all that the Gospels don't have eyewitness material behind them. I think they're mostly eyewitness material.
Man, look at this fucking shit.
Yeah, the one thing I was just kind of wondering about is,
No.
You brought up Papias. Doesn't Eusebius call Papias stupid or something? Do you think that can hurt your case, Grams?
No,
Get that damn bullshit out of
the
here,
reason
son
why
of
he
a
calls him
bitch.
stupid.
I've heard it. I just forget it.
Eusebius calls him stupid because of his views on eschatology and on his interpretation of the Book of Revelation. He obviously thinks he's reliable enough, as a historian, to pass down faithfully the eyewitness traditions. Otherwise, he wouldn't have quoted him. And by the way, Papias, I think Eusebius' exegesis of Papias is very biased. A lot of scholars have followed Eusebius in distinguishing between someone called John the Elder and John, son of Zebedee. I think the only reason Eusebius makes that distinction is because that way he can attribute the Book of Revelation, which he was not fond of, to some other John the Elder who wasn't an actual disciple or apostle.
Damn, he eared my work.
So, yeah.
That fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Ready for this final clip here on the mass grave idea? All right, so this is from the Q&A section. I encourage you, obviously, we're just skimming the very brief parts of this debate, so the link's down below if you want to see this full debate. It's a really good debate. But here's this last part that we're going to play in this debate review.
I'm a former Christian, Nicole says. Not anything right now, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on the mass grave versus tomb. That's new to me.
Yeah. So, one argument, say, for people like John Dominic Crossan or Bart Ehrman, new Bart Ehrman, not old Bart Ehrman, is that given that Romans would often bury their, dump their crucifixion victims in mass graves, that creates this kind of intrinsic improbability of the Christian burial story of Jesus, very improbable. But in fact, we have many examples in history of Romans making exceptions. look at this. What Josephus writes in his Jewish War. The Jews are so, and this is during. Actually, is this the first Jewish revolt? The Jews are so careful about funeral rites that even those who are crucified because they were found guilty are taken down and buried before sunset. As Craig Evans points out, only Romans had the power to crucify in Judea and Samaria, and the Jews are the ones burying because they're making a reference to Deuteronomy 21. We have archaeological evidence in 1968. We found the bones of a Jewish man named Johann, who was a crucifixion victim in a Jewish tomb. Taken from the Roman Digesta. The bodies of those who are which is a Roman law book, by the way. The bodies of those who are condemned to death should not be refused their relatives. And the divine Augustus, and Augustus is served around a few years before Jesus' time. And the divine Augustus, in the 10th book of his life, said that this rule had been observed. At present, the bodies of those who have been punished are only buried when this has been requested, permission granted, and sometimes it is not permitted, especially where persons have been convicted of high treason. Jesus didn't commit high treason. Even the bodies of those who have been sentenced to be burned can be claimed in order that their bones and ashes, after having been collected, may be buried. One more from the Roman Digesta. The bodies of persons who have been punished should be given to whoever requests them for the purpose of burial. So there are Roman laws about burial were actually more flexible than Bart Ehrman and John Dominic Crossan suppose. That's why they're taking the minority position.
GE, I can see your brain splitting right now. Would you like to say anything?
Brim, do you want us to play this, John? I didn't know where you want me to pause here. Do you want me to play John says in reply?
Yeah, let's do it. I like his comment here.
Okay, just let me know when you need me to stop.
Okay.
Well, I feel like the over-reliance on New Testament scholarship is way overplayed here. Which I mean,
mentioned it in passing.
Huh?
I just mentioned it in passing. I gave the actual evidence.
Well, yeah, I know that you gave the actual evidence. I don't see how it adds anything to like your evidence. Like for me at least, this is just me. Whenever I hear somebody be like, "Oh, this is a minority position" or whatnot, it's just kind of like a similar thing.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
like,
I want to.
You can stop right
thank you
there.
for saying that. I actually want to.
All right, what are your thoughts on this clip here, Brandon?
Well, let me start with the GE thing. Godless engineer. I find it funny that he accuses me of being overly reliant on New Testament scholarship, and then later brags on how characters is peer review. Why should that matter on his view? I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I mean, people with PhDs who have studied this stuff all their life, who generally agree on a conclusion, that is itself indirect evidence for that conclusion. It is. Now, if that's all you're relying on, that's poor research. You have to look at the specific evidence. And I have absolutely no problem with, just rejecting all the scholarly consensus, blah, blah, when I think the specific evidence is just completely contrary to that. I take that position on something like John, in my opinion, not actually moving the crucifixion to Passover. Lots of New Testament scholars, even evangelicals, disagree with me there. So I just kind of, I thought that was.
I do think like consensus has to obviously I think John's right to the point where you can't just rely on the consensus. Obviously it's true, but then it gives some credence to it. The majority of scientists believing in climate change gives some credence in my mind to climate change. Just about every scientist agrees the Earth is not 6,000 years old gives to me credence to think that creationism is false. You say the same thing about really, and it doesn't prove it by any means, but it gives credence to think that the majority is probably or not definitely right. It gives you credence to think it's true.
And I'm surprised he used the phrase over-reliance, or I was over-relying on something. I spent all that time going through the specific evidence,
You're talking about the Jewish text, right?
I went through Roman. Wait, what did I go through? I went through Josephus, who's a Jewish historian, in the Roman law book called the Digesta, because the argument that Rick is using, which people like John Dominic Crossan and now more recently Bart Ehrman have argued, is that Romans did not, generally speaking, put their crucifixion victims in tombs. They put them in mass graves. That's right. Obviously. I say obviously. That's not obvious to everyone. Yes. Everybody agrees with that. The problem is that's just a prior concern.
Son of a bitch.
That if you're, I was amazed when
This
I read
is fucking
Bartman's book where
pissing
he
me off.
does a treatment of the burial. He only assesses the burial in light of prior concerns like that one.
No.
But the disanalogy between the burial of Jesus and the burial of most Roman crucifixion victims is that it's not a Roman doing, taking a crucifixion victim down from the cross and throwing them to a mass grave. It's a Sanhedrin Jew who has a special fondness for Jesus, burying Jesus himself. So when it comes to a passage like in Josephus, which I cited, where during one of the Jewish revolts against Rome, Rome allows them to bury their own crucifixion victims in light of what they were their own law told them to do. Deuteronomy 21 verses 22 through 24 or something like that.
No.
That kind of situation is the evidence we need to look for when assessing how the gospel burial coheres with other ancient evidence, right? And I just wanted to play that clip, not because I have much to say about it, but just because I think that's a common... I hear that argument all the time. Well, they were put in mass graves, but we had so much specific evidence that many, many exceptions were made for Jewish people to follow their law as laid out in Deuteronomy. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really helpful. That's the end of our clips, Bram. Do you have anything else you want to bring up with regards to this debate or the resurrection or anything else before we should wrap up here?
I'd like to. A lot of this has been very critical of Rick, but I'd like to thank Rick a lot for doing the debate with me, and I appreciate the dialogue we had. And I feel like these kind of Christian atheist or Christian non-Christian dialogues are exactly what need to happen. In order to get to what's most important, namely truth. So I'm really thankful for accepting to debate. So yeah, I had fun.
Yeah, dude, you're insane. You're balling out, doing all these debates, and going after one of the biggest out there. And if Rick does listen to this, he's really cool. I like him. He's very valuable. He brings up a lot of important points, like in regards to the resurrection or the Old Testament. It's really helpful because he's not just at least from my experience, it's not just these things I've heard a million times. He's really thoughtful.
You fucking dumbass.
And these dialogues are important. It's about truth, and hopefully this is Bram, to wrap things up here, how can people connect with you, follow you, in case you want to do that? I'm trying to think of some young sports star, the Bram Mullins of Jack. So how can
you can follow me on TikTok at Bram Rawlings 1. There's my apologetics TikTok, but I'm at Bram Rawlings, but I mostly play guitar. You don't need to do that. Are we taking questions, by the way, Zach?
If people have questions, I think there's actually one that brought it up earlier.
I fucked this. Oh!
Okay.
Yep. The question here was the question from Kyle, which said, "Why think Christian opponents?"
Because one, I think they had access to the tomb. After all, a Sanhedrin member buries Jesus.
I've done that before, so don't feel bad.
Actually,
loser.
Tells Sanhedrin members that they need to provide tombs for
loser.
for
What a
victims like
dumbass!
this.
What a fucking dumbass! What a
But
fucking
also,
dumbass!
consider
what a
this:
fucking dumbass.
the apostolic proclamation of the resurrection first occurred in Jerusalem, the very city where Jesus was crucified and buried. And the tomb
What a
was known
fucking
as
dumbass!
If they had, gone into the tomb and found anything reminiscent of a body, the whole movement could have been shut down like that. Also, more specifically, the Matthean polemic in, I think it's Matthew 7, where Matthew tells this story about how the Jewish leaders go to
Zach, can you help me out here? What's the story?
The Jewish leader?
The Matthias Fleming. Do you know about that?
No.
I'm blanking on it, even though I've read it so many times.
You know this stuff more than me.
Anyway, let's just say in Matthew 27 or 28, I can't quite remember. Matthew seems to be polemically refuting this idea that the Jewish leaders had brought up that the disciples stole the body. The question is, why would they say that the disciples stole the body if the tomb was already known and they could have gone there? Presumably because the tomb was empty. That kind of objection to the resurrection is exactly what you'd have if the tomb was empty. It presupposes that. So yeah, I think given those points, we have very good reason to think that the first thing they would go do is check out to see if that tomb was empty or not.
It's in Matthew 27.
You better take that whore, or I'm gonna ass up your damn. I'm gonna ear your rook. I'll ear your rook.
Maybe it was Oprah that gave it away, as Kyle suggests. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah.
I'll ear your damn rook. You're not gonna like that.
To think that the Gospels here are inventing details. Why would I think it's Matthew that says the Joseph that.
Oh,
I want to be careful about that. I'm shaky on.
I'm sticking
those
this pull up your
details
whole butt.
Which detail was found in which gospel? So I'm just gonna forget I said that. I could be right, but just for risk, I'm gonna forget it.
You better move your white ass.
How would that help out the evangelists in
You better
any way?
move your black ass.
By saying that the tomb was new. Would that somehow remove the shame of the burial or something? And if so, why should we think they would have, be willing to remove restraints on the historical reportage in order to clean it up and make the burial less shameful when they don't do that for the crucifixion, for example? So, I think the tomb was new.
All right, I think that's all the questions we have, Bram. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you're on a deserted island and you only had one book and it couldn't be about New Testament scholarship at all, what would it be?
I mean, does the Bible count?
No, that's not
okay. It can't be about New Testament scholarship.
And it can't be about Old Testament scholarship either.
You do realize that's my entire show.
I'm here to destroy you with questions.
Let me take a peek at my bookshelf.
Get that whore out of here.
Literally, all I see is New Testament scholarship. Let me think about this. Oh, maybe this one. The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis.
It's a good book.
I love this book. That's a question to think about. That just shows I need to read. I need to read more things like outside my little New Testament bubble. But yeah,
you gotta read. I just started reading the classics. I'm trying to read ancient authors more, or not ancient, people that are dead. It's I just read George Orwell's 1984. Now I'm reading The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo, and just and I'm gonna read Eusebius next. Just it's really interesting. But yeah, one last question.
Eusebius?
Yeah, I'm hopefully gonna read that after I leave in a couple of weeks. So I haven't gotten there yet. Charles says, probably your last question. Do you believe Paul quotes Luke and Corinthians like J. Warner Wallace suggests?
Wallace suggests? No, I don't think that at all. I think, I think that Paul is quoting a important piece of oral tradition that is circulating in the early church that is really well preserved, and that Luke also quotes. And that oral tradition comes from the West. So I don't think that Paul is quoting Luke there. Though in 1 or 2 Timothy, though, Paul does, I believe, quote Luke 10, verse 7, where he says the worker deserves his wages. Interesting. Paul is that scripture. So that's a fascinating piece of information if you want to get into the study of the formation of canon. So,
All
I eared his root.
Do you have a lane first, Brown?
Living my Christian life, I always have verses that stick with me and that I remember. Let me think about this one.
I don't know how much longer I can hold this.
Interestingly enough, I can't really think of one right now. But I'm always having, like, whenever I'm making decisions,
This is fucking
I'm always having
pissing me
some
off.
kind of verse floating around. But I couldn't reduce it to just one, or maybe something. Well, actually, the one on my shirt, it's Philippians 2:5-11. Where Paul, some people call it the Messiah hymn. And it's about the humiliation and the subsequent exaltation of Jesus. And if you read that, that's just an incredible verse. That one's on my mind a lot. So I guess you could say I have a life passage. I would probably do that one.
That's good. We'll do one more question, and then we got to wrap things up here. From Susan, like the patron thinking about Susan. She says, "Do you think Matthew is the first written gospel in Hebrew or Aramaic, and later put into Greek? So did Matthew not depend on Mark or Q if it existed?" Do you have any thoughts here, Brown?
That's a very difficult question. The reason being because our Greek text of Matthew does not read like translation Greek, and we can recognize translation Greek from Aramaic in Hebrew if he did write it. So here's one possibility. I think the patristic evidence is strong enough for us to believe that Matthew did compile something, a gospel or some sayings of Jesus in Hebrew or Aramaic before Mark did. Whether Matthew himself wrote the Greek text of Matthew, I'm not sure. There's a scholar named Theodore Zahn, I think, that suggests that Matthew wrote two gospels, one in Hebrew or Aramaic and one in Greek. That might make sense if, as Craig Keener points out, that ancient biographies often went through different drafts and stuff, that Josephus might have compiled, his first draft of either the War of the Jews or Antiquities in one language, and then wrote it in Greek and had a scribe clean it up. So that's one possibility. But in the end, I don't know who wrote. I'm not very confident that Matthew himself wrote the Greek text of Matthew. I'm not confident that he didn't. I just don't know. But I do think he compiled something in Hebrew or Aramaic before Mark, which it could be Q. That's one suggestion, but maybe not. So it gets kind of speculative at this point.
Well, that's about all the time we have, Bram. So thank you so much for coming on today and reviewing this debate. It's been a lot of fun. Anything you want to say before we part off for the day?
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a blast.
I gotta ear his damn
Thanks,
root.
guys.
Yeah, and I encourage everyone, if you're listening to this, the debate is linked down below. Really good debate, worth listening to.
That fucking pisses me off.
Be the first of many times we chat, Bram. So it'll be a lot of fun. Thank
That
everyone who tuned
fucking
in.
pisses me
Brandon,
off.
Zulio, Susan, everyone else. Have a good one, and God bless.
Together, committed to helping preserve what makes the outdoors worth exploring. Publishers Clearinghouse is all across America.
Man, no.
Last chance to win $5,000 a week for life.
Enter now at PCH.com. August 31st, it could be you.
Also, $5,000 a week for life. Enter now at PCH.com.
The new Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich with brioche buns, mayo, pickles, and a quarter-pound filet as far as the eye can see. Get comfy, it's gonna be a while. This thing's huge. Get the new Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich for just $3.99. It's finger licking good.
You're strong.
You power through chronic migraine.
No.
15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. So if you haven't tried Botox for your chronic migraine, check with your doctor if Botox is right for you and if samples are available.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition.
Son of a
Side effects
bitch.
include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and
That fucking pawn out of here.
if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
No.
Most patients may pay as little as $0 for Botox. So text to see how you can save.
Son of a
Botox
bitch.
has been preventing headaches and migraines before they even start for 10 years. So ask your doctor about Botox today.
93 warmer days.
That fucking pawn out of here.
Promising new adventure.
No.
Infused
No.
and never get old. Your favorite season
Fuck.
starts now. Summer on.
The fucking king out of here.
$500 through August 2nd.
Son of a bitch.
I'm Luke Roman. At the Roman Agency, we've assembled an elite team to sell the houses that nobody else can.
Son of
Because
a
houses
bitch.
in town still gotta sell. It's real estate
No.
Friday at 10 on Sci-Fi.
No. Suck my dick. Stupid fucker. Suck my dick. No. Suck my dick. Suck my dick.
Yeah, one of these.
No. No. Suck my dick, you fucking pawn. No. Suck my dick. God. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Son of a fucking bitch.
No matter what happens, you stay in
No.
fast. You got it?
No. No. Come on, you dick sucker. Son of a bitch. Come on, you move, you stick sucker. No. 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 Stupid ass motherfucker. Come on, you motherfucker. Oh, I fucked up. Come on, you motherfucker. Come on, you bitch. No, I don't. That fucking pisses me off. I wanted to win that damn game. No. No. Oh, this guy wants to swap whores. No. 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 No.
This is the vehicle's top speed.
I can get out and run faster than this. No, don't. No. But this motherfucker won't catch him. No. 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 Hell no, you ain't gonna put me my damn ass in check, dummy. No. 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 Them pawns are coming after your ass. Shit. Dumbass. Damn. No.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That damn knight ain't doing the shit in there. No, don't.
We don't have much time.
No. Stupid ass motherfucker. That fucking knight, you son of a bitch. Ooh! Oh, damn, I fucked up. Shit. No. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. No. 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 Son of a bitch. No.
No, run. John, you got to go now. Go now.
No. No. No, I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. Get that damn king out of here. No, I don't. No, I don't. That motherfucker out of here, son of a bitch. No, I don't. No, I don't. We'll play patty cakes all night long. I'll stalemate your ass. I King Sullivan your ass. Oh. No.
Valeriana was shook with the new Popeye sandwiches and more pack. With 4 chicken sandwiches, 4 tenders, and a large side for $25, there's something for everyone. Start earning points with Popeye's rewards.
And Nathan Adrian back down from a cancer diagnosis.
That damn game chess. No.
Continuing to train, fight, win. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes a lion. Modelo, food for those with a fighting spirit.
Here, you can find your style in every aisle. Got an eye for design? We've got a design for your budget. Want endless aisles of more? We've got more. Way more. When you explore our showrooms of style, you'll find whatever you're into. At a price you'll really get into. Shop the showroom styles fast event at Lowe's.
Get ready to take on summer with new ice drinks and
No.
like a full-bodied and smooth sunrise batch coffee, refreshing lemonade with strawberry-flavored popping bubbles, or a smoked vanilla cold brew with sweet cold foam. Start summering with a $2 medium iced sunrise batch coffee. America runs on Dunkin'.
Man, Pizza Hut packs so much meat in their meat lovers pizza. 6 meats, over a pound of meat and cheese. This thing's a monster. Grab a $12.99 meat lovers pizza by July 31st before it's gone. No one outbeats it.
No.
Oh, I've travelled all over.
Pizza sucks.
Saving with Geico. But that's the important bit, isn't it? Showing up. Saying hello.
No.
We talk like 2 old friends about sticky buns and all the savings you could get by bundling your home and car insurance. But here's the real secret. Eye contact. You feel that?
Stupid ass gecko on that Geico commercial. Suck my cock.
Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. Introducing the new City Custom Cash Card, a different kind of card that rewards Rashida where her spending is trending. Just ask overly confident DIY Rashida.
Wait, was this the right wall?
Or last-minute gift shopping, Rashida?
I'm putting a bow on it.
Even sneaking away for a vacay, Rashida?
I've earned this, okay?
From home improvement, drugstore, select travel, and more, earn 5% cash back that automatically adjusts to your top eligible spend category, up to $500 spent each billing cycle.
Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G with the new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, just trade in your old one. Crack buttons, sticky buttons. We're calling it the biggest upgrade ever because it is.
When making the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich, people asked how I felt about burger places selling fried chicken. I'd say that's none of my business. Just like making fried chicken is none of theirs. Get the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich for just $3.99. It's finger licking good.
Summer can't be contained to just one moment. It can be exhilarating.
Man, this coffee tastes like cunt.
Breathtaking.
Man, this damn coffee tastes like cunt. That fucking pisses me off.
Never settle for just the summer. Make yours.
Oh.
Receive a credit of up to $3,500 through August 2nd.
No. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Fight for something known as Mortal Kombat.
Watch new movies like these and more available on demand weekly. Order today. Beat her clock when you simply stop, but not Rose. She has customized support for Dr. Schultz Custom Fit Orthotics.
Son of a
Rose's
bitch.
weapon in store or online, and get your feet on.
Luxury is where you are. That stops.
Son of a bitch. No, I don't. No, I don't. No. Time to do a damn broadcast after this. No. 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 No.
Grab it, Judy. Grab it.
Mm. Move your black ass. I mean white ass, bitch. No. Stupid. That was fucking stupid. No. Come on. No, I don't. Then we'll put your black ass stone. Yeah, I have little, if any, patience for people who stone. No, I don't want to block his ass. I want to support his ass. Like that. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't. Get that damn king out of here, son of a bitch. Shit. No. 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 That fucking pawn out here, you son of a bitch. Oh. No, don't. Maybe I can ass up that damn bishop. No, no, no. Damn. Get that damn king out of here, son of a bitch. No. No. And this is fucking pissing me off. No. Damn, damn, damn. No. No. Shit. Man, this is fucking pissing me off. I was clusterfuck. Get the fucking thing out of here, son of a bitch. No. No.
Get out of the way, John. Get out.
Fucking pawn. Oh, Lord. Now I gotta get rid of these fucking pawns. No, don't. No, don't. Fuck this shit. Oh, no. No, I don't. That fucking king. Oh, fucking nah, you son of a bitch. No, no, no.
Get up. Come on.
I need a vacation.
That's not how a damn Terminator talks.
Is it dead?
Terminator.
Is this mountain there?
Yes. Throw it in.
I fucking get out of here, son of a bitch.
And the chip.
Fuck you.
No. There's one more chip. And it must be destroyed also. Yeah. I cannot self-terminate. You must know me.
Suck my... No. No, don't.
No.
I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry.
No, be okay. Stay with us. Be okay.
I have to go away.
No, don't do it. Please, don't go.
I must go away.
No.
No. No. Wait, you don't have to do this. No,
Well,
don't do it. Just go.
no. Just no.